I am so not sure what all is going on and what has or has not been recorded. So we're going to keep moving forward, correct? So, Grand Rising, I am excited. Today we are moving forward. We are just going to trust the process. We're going to move forward knowing that everything that is going forward, everything that is getting out, guess what? It is needed and necessary, right? And we're going to keep moving forward. Today is Saturday. It is June 20th. And for those who celebrate holidays, June 19th was yesterday. So I hope you had an amazing time. We're going to just we're starting over because something happened with the computer, and we're going to roll with the punches. This is what we do. We learn to pivot, right? So I'm going to just start over, and I want to just open the line with a prayer that was going to connect with the people. So we just come before you all by saying thank you. Thank you for another day. Thank you for meeting us here in this place. Thank you for allowing us to gather today for another opportunity that we may learn, that we may grow, that we may heal. Um, Many of us have spent years carrying burdens that we were not meant to carry alone. We have been struggling, we've been stressing, we've been the strong ones, we've been the caregivers, we've been the providers, the protectors, the peacemakers. We've been the one that everyone in our family depended on, Lord. And most of us had no one that we could depend on. We have learned how to survive difficult seasons and times. And somewhere along the way, survival mode left being a mode and became our norm and our lifestyle. And so today we come asking you to meet us in these places where we have become exhausted from carrying what no longer serves us, what no longer belongs to us. Father, reveal every pattern of thought that has kept us in this cycle, every belief, every fear, every wound, and every survival strategy that no longer serves your purpose for us, that we have developed and made into our lifestyle versus it being a moment in time. Help us to recognize our identity, the one that we were created to carry, not the one that we adopted just so that we could adapt to the stressors in our lives. Renew our minds according to your word, calm our nervous systems, heal our hearts, restore our confidence, strengthen our bodies, and reawaken our purpose. Where there has been confusion, bring clarity. Where there has been fear, bring peace. Where there's grief, bring comfort. Where there has been survival, bring transformation. Open our ears to hear what you are saying about who we are becoming in this season. Help us to receive the truth of your word above every limiting belief, every past disappointment, and every false identity that we have carried. As we learn today, let knowledge become wisdom, and wisdom become action, and action become our transformation. We surrender this time to you and invite you to be present in this moment with us. That every word spoken, every thought examined, and that every heart represented will experience a transformation on a level that we have yet to even understand is possible for us. We declare it so. And it is so. Today is not about becoming someone else. It's not. It's about remembering who you were before survival mode became your identity. Like, I want you to understand how many women have spent all of our lives, right? You see us putting the post up. I was this many days old when I found out. Let's talk about it, right? But we've been the strong ones. We've been the providers. We've been the caretakers. We've been the peacemakers in the family. We've been the fixers, right? We've been the one that everyone could depend on. And most of us never had any one person that we could depend on, right? The problem is that when survival mode becomes a lifestyle, it eventually becomes our identity. How many of us know that it's not supposed to become our identity? We stop asking who we are and we start asking who everyone else needs us to be. And we become that. We evolve into that. We morph into that. So today we're going to explore how survival mode impacts our brain, our nervous system, our body, our spirit, our relationships, and our identity. And we're going to figure out how to be intentional and causing the shift, right, that we need to initiate in order for this next version of ourselves to come forth. The transformation scripture that I like for this will be Romans 12:2. If you know my husband, you know this is one of his favorite verses. Be transformed by the entire renewal of your mind. Amplified Classic. Entire renewal. This transformation begins in the mind before it appears in your life, in your heart, even in your words. You have to know that you know that you know this is what you want for your life. Let's talk about how survival mode became your identity, right? Survival mode is not a season. It's not. It was never intended to be a season. It is a nervous system state. Did you hear that? It is a state for the nervous system. It wasn't intended to be your lifestyle. And it's often discussed how women in midlife have carried decades of being the caregiver, carrying everybody else's stress, hormonal changes and imbalances, right? And even invisible emotional labor. How many of us know that carrying all of this stuff makes it difficult, if not impossible, for us to actually begin to see, be, and become who we were intended to see, be, and become? Does that make sense? And so over time, our body adapts, the brain adapts, our identity adapts, and you become, I am the strong one. I'm the responsible one. I'm the one who never needs help. I'm the one who everyone else can depend on. I'm the one who shows up for everyone. The problem is that these identities were created from necessity, not purpose. How many of us we need to know that we need to shift back into purpose, right? Right. So the brain's primary goal is protection. The amygdala scans for danger all the time. The hypothalamus activates stress releases. The nervous system prepares for survival. The prefrontal cortex responsibility for creativity, for decision making, for planning, for future visioning becomes less active when chronic stress dominates. Did you know that your prefrontal cortex will almost come to a screeching halt when your hypothalamus is fired up? When your amygdala says, hey, I found a danger, even if it's not a real danger, even if it's just a thought, even if it's just a little bit of nervousness because you've never done this before. Your brain has never seen the light of day. That's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it does not understand that sometimes those signals of danger and nervousness, fear, are not from a serious external threat, but they're from an internal unsurety, right? So the nervous system prepares for survival. I have to survive. Over everything else, I have to survive, right? But as it's surviving, your prefrontal cortex is shutting down because it's like, I don't need to be creative right now. I just simply need to survive. And eventually, women begin living from reaction instead of intention. Proverbs 23:7 says this: as he thinks in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What we repeatedly believe eventually becomes how we live. How many of you have seen that, lived that, and become that, and have embodied that, understand that, right? So I want you to sit straight up in your chair or on your sofa or your bed, wherever you're watching. I want you to take a deep breath with me. You're going to breathe in our nose to the count of 4, hold it at the top to the count of 4. And then we're going to release and breathe out of our mouth to the count of 6. I'm going to repeat this 3 times. But as you do it, I want you to raise your shoulders when you inhale to your ears. Holding it. And I want you to release out your mouth and put your shoulders down. Roll them back a little bit. Do that again. Holding at the top. Roll them and let them down as you exhale. Let's do that one more time. Holding it. And now the body stores responsibility. And many women literally carry their lives on their shoulders. How many of you felt that releasing in your shoulders? How many of you felt that tension breaking, felt the ease, felt the in your shoulders as you did it, your neck, right? Today we begin teaching the body that it no longer has to carry everything alone. There's a scripture, and I'm not worried about you knowing where it's located, more so than I want you to understand the concept of it. It says, the Lord told us to cast our cares upon him. And when you look up the word cast, I want you to understand that it's not just saying, I'm going to put it on you. No, it's saying, ball it up and chuck it as hard as you can. Cast your cares upon him because he cares for us. When was the last time you cast your cares upon the Lord? But you're carrying it. It's weighing you down. It's burdening you. So cast it. Let's talk about identity loss in midlife. I understand this thoroughly. So many women reach midlife asking, who am I if I'm not constantly needed? Who am I if I'm not rescuing someone? Who am I after the children leave? I struggle with that one. Who am I after divorce? Who am I after menopause? Who am I after burnout? Who am I as I approach retirement? Who do I want to be? See, it's taught that healing often begins when we stop identifying with our pain. You are not your trauma. Let me repeat that. You are not your trauma. You are not your diagnosis. You are not your survival strategy. You are not your worst in your worst season. Guess what? Your worst season, your biggest struggles, the worst days of your life, you have a 100% success record of surviving each and every one of them. And you survived it, same mind, same body, in one piece, and still able to move forward. I want you to just think about that for a little bit. 100% success record. That's you. So scripture, Isaiah 43, verse 18 and 19 says this, remember not the former things. Behold, I am doing a new thing. God often introduces a new season just before we feel ready for it. So in the introduction of the new season, in the introduction of the new version of you, in the introduction, you're not going to feel ready. You're not going to feel like this is right. You're not going to feel like it's actually you. So yes, will you feel like there's some imposter syndrome? Absolutely. Will you feel like I'm not quite ready, knees knocking, teeth chattering, hands shaking? Absolutely. But what I tell everyone that I work with, even in those circumstances and situations, I want you to pick up the phone, text me, call me, send an email. I don't care if you send a homing pigeon or a message in a bottle, just send it by FedEx, overnight it, or doggone it, if you can chuck it at me, do that. I have good hands, I will catch. But what you don't do is not go through the door. We go through every open door, every opportunity. We're going to try it. We're going to test it. We're going to see if it's real. We're going to pray about it, absolutely. But as we're praying, guess what? We're going to be looking for signs and confirmations that this is the right direction. And when you get the first sign, when you get the first bell, when you get the first whistle, when you get the first head nod, when you're in meditation and you get the smile and the open hands, guess what? That means, come on. So we're going to take the step. We're not going to second guess it. Does that mean we may have to call somebody and be like, listen, can I borrow $60 so I can jump into this venture? I'm not sure it's going to work, but guess what? Should it work or should it not? I'm going to take care of you on the back end. But guess what? I just need an opportunity and I need a hand up and I need an opportunity. Sometimes we got to get there. Sometimes it's not that we don't have the money. Sometimes it's we need somebody to say, hey, I need you to just pray with me through this season. I need you to pray with me in my unsurety of the season while I continue to take steps towards what I'm seeing is opening for me. Sometimes it's, do I need to pack up and relocate? Is it, do I need to get ready to turn in my resignation because I want to go full force into my 5 to 9 because it has been growing? Do you see what I'm saying? This is not about you getting to that place in life where opportunities are starting to come to you and you're too afraid to move. Start coaching, start teaching, start mentoring, start encouraging you the same way you do it for every single body else, your children, your spouse, your parents, your siblings, your cousins, your nieces and nephews, everybody that comes to you, your girlfriends, your sister friends, your in-laws, your outlaws, your ex-laws, all of them. The same way you encourage them, encourage you. Does that mean sometimes you have to take a moment and pause? Do the 4-4-6 breath. Do 3 to 5 sessions of it or sequences of it, right? On the 5th cycle, when you exhale, simply say, I am safe and I'm moving forward. Do you see how that sounds? Do you see how that resonates inside of you? When you say it with your voice, see how it feels inside of you. You're safe. I love you. I'm with you. We're going to do this. Okay, so now the longer exhales, this activates your parasympathetic nervous system. If you did not know, we have 2 nervous systems. You have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system. This is the body healing state. This is that rest and recover or rest and digest state, right? You cannot heal while remaining in constant emergency survival mode. You can't. You can't heal that way. You can't really grow that way. Now, don't get me wrong. There may be some semblances of growth because guess what? Sometimes infection looks like growth. But trust me when I tell you, you want to have growth in the times when you're in the parasympathetic nervous system, when you're in the rest and digest state, when you're in the exhale, not the inhale, right? So now everyone knows I'm a social worker, right? So let's talk about one of my favorite books, DSM-5. Now, the common cognitive distortions are often associated with anxiety, depression, trauma responses, and even chronic stress. Don't ask me why I have those memorized. I just do. This was my life for over 20 years, okay? And it still is. And I still do social work every single day, right? So here's some examples. Catastrophizing. What does that mean? That's the all or nothing. Oh, something bad happened. Oh, everything has gone wrong in my life. It was one thing. We have to stop allowing our mouths to write checks that our lives do not want to cash. Negative self-labeling, hopelessness, overgeneralization, all of that falls under catastrophizing. We cannot continue to do that. Don't ever want to say something like, oh, I always fail. No, you don't always fail, because if you always failed, you would have not accomplished what you've accomplished in your life thus far. See how that's a lie? Some people, I have them start a truth journal. So everything that you accomplish in a day, I want you to write it down. Write it down. In my pen, my notepad right here, write it down. Write down what you accomplished in a day. I made up my bed. I had my breakfast, and it was fruit and vegetables, all raw, fresh fruits and vegetables. I had my okra water with my chia seeds and flax seeds, with my scoop of spirulina and my scoop of moringa powder. I had my green fresh pressed juice. Okay. I have my prebiotics and my probiotics in my Alive, right? I have made my herbal tea for the day and put my cayenne pepper in it for my heart health. I got on my vibration plate and did 20 minutes, 20 of my 30 minutes. I did my arm workout. I did my leg workout and my arms. So guess what? I'm ahead of the game. And it's just after 12 o'clock. And I showed up here. Even when the computer shut down when I first started, guess what? I didn't quit. I didn't freak out. I literally pivoted. I turned everything off, restarted it. Guess what? Turned off the old recording, started a new recording. And guess what? Here we are right now moving forward, because guess what? We do not allow things to cause us to think that something is, oh, it's a curse. It was sin. It was this. No. Sometimes things happen, and we have to learn the art of the pivot. If you've ever had a session with me, I'm going to teach you about the art of the pivot. When something happens, guess what? We already have backup plans and contingency plans, and we do what? We pivot, right? Don't you ever say to yourself, I'll never change, because guess what? Change is the one constant thing in this world. So we're changing every single day, whether we're changing our clothes, changing our undergarments, changing our minds, changing our linen on our bed, changing the direction in which we're driving, changing our educational level, changing what we know, because we went to a certificate class, a certification program, and we now have a certificate. So now we know more. So we've changed the level of our knowledge, right? We've changed our hair color. We've changed our nail polish. We've changed. You understand what I'm saying? Change is the one consistent thing in this life. So again, don't let your mouth write checks that your life does not want to cash. Don't you ever say everyone leaves you, because they don't. Some people need to leave. Some of those vampires, some of those people sucking your energy dry, some of those people who are sabotaging you, some of those people who are preying, preying on you. Guess what? Some of them need to leave your life. So don't be always so upset about people leaving, right? These thoughts become automatic neural pathways, but that's not what we're trying to create. It has been shown that neuroplasticity and the brain's ability to recognize itself through intentional awareness and repetition is something that can be positive and not always negative. You just have to repeat the positive more than you repeat and rehearse the negative. The good news: thought patterns can change, neural pathways can change, behaviors can change, identities can change. So cognitive reprogramming looks like this. The old identity: I have to do everything. That's old. Replace it with this: I am allowed to receive support. Did you catch that? I am allowed to receive support. The old identity: I am always behind. Replace that with, I'm exactly where growth is happening. And then allow the growth process to begin, because growth doesn't happen overnight. We didn't gain that weight overnight. We didn't gain that relationship overnight. We didn't grow that baby overnight. We didn't grow our knowledge overnight. So why do we think that for there to be some change, it has to be sudden, instant? It is not a microwave process. It's not. Right? Old identity: I'm exhausted because I'm weak. No, you're not. If you were weak, you wouldn't keep coming back and showing back up. Replace that with this. My body is asking for restoration, for reinforcement. So guess what? Give it. If that means rest for a day and then come back to it hard, do that. No one is calculating or counting or saying how many times you do or do not show up for yourself. But guess what? Your body and your brain keeps a record. And when your body feels like it can't trust your words to say, I'm going to show up for you, guess what? Then your mind will trust a stranger before it trusts you. And that's a sad place to be. That's not where we want to be. That's not where we should be. The scripture that says 2 Corinthians 10, you all know that's one of my favorite verses, verse 5. We're going to take every thought and bring it captive. Did you catch that? Bring every thought captive. Did you know you can encapsulate, you can capture a thought? But you got to first learn how to set guards at the gates. Your ear gates, your eye gates, your mouth gates. You got to set guards at the gates. So you monitor what comes in. And you have to have guards on the other side so you can monitor what goes out. Because sometimes some things come in that didn't come through the gates, but that was rehearsed from an internal loop that's inside of you that you have to dismantle. Not every thought deserves agreement. So when it doesn't deserve agreement, reject it, uproot it, and eject it. But then that means you need to replace it with something that is truth about who you are. So you better have you a list of truths like I have here of who I am. I am loved of God. I am the righteousness of God, Jesus Christ. Guess what? I am seated in high places. I am the righteousness of God. I am a daughter of God. I am the beloved. I am an heir to the throne, a joint heir to the throne. Do you have these things written out so that when you need a reminder, you have a place you can look for the reminder? You see how far away it was from me? My arm not even stretched out. Do you see how close it is? When I'm working every day, all day, guess what? I'm right here. It's right here, reminding me of who I am. Make it easy for yourself. So let's talk about healing the emotional body. Many women have learned how to keep going while carrying unprocessed emotions. They show up for work, for family, for ministry, and for everyone else around them. Yet underneath the surface, guess what? They may be carrying grief, disappointment, betrayal, fear, stress, and emotional exhaustion. If you resemble that, just put a 1 in the chat. No, you gotta. If you know somebody like that, just put a 1 in the chat. If you thought you knew someone like that, just put a 1 in the chat. The challenge is that many of us were taught how to suppress emotions rather than process them. Did you catch that? To suppress it versus process it. We heard things like, be strong, stop crying, get over it, keep moving. Over time, we become skilled at functioning while disconnected from what we actually feel. But emotional suppression is not the same as emotional healing. And when we are not healing emotionally, guess what happens? It starts building up in us. Research in neuroscience and trauma studies show us that the body often remembers what the mind tries to forget. So you may have moved on intellectually from an experience or trauma, right? But your body may still be carrying the stress response. Have you ever noticed your shoulders tighten when you're overwhelmed? Your stomach knots up when you're anxious. Your chest feels heavy when you're grieving. Your jaw clenches when you're frustrated. The body and emotions are deeply connected. And when emotions go unprocessed, they often show up as chronic tension, fatigue. Don't tell on yourself, but just If you know somebody like this, if you were like this, if you have a recollection of a situation like this, just put a 4 in the chat, right? Headaches out of nowhere, sleep disruptions, irritability, anxiety, emotional numbness. The body often speaks when emotions have been ignored. And the body goes from a whisper to a firm voice to a scream, and then it goes to an all out growl, and then it starts fighting you. Hello, Cancer. Hello to every diagnosis and dis-ease in the body. So Psalms 147:3 says this: He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Notice that God doesn't just address the behavior, He addresses the heart, the grief, the disappointment, the emotional wounds nobody else sees. He recognizes that pain is real, and He desires healing for every wounded place within each and every one of us. Is that your desire as well? Then you need to get with me. When midlife becomes emotions, or it becomes that emotional place that shows up on the surface, many women find that during midlife, menopause, career changes, divorce, caregiving, or empty nesting transitions, right? That emotions that they thought were resolved suddenly reappear. Often, this is not a sign that you're falling apart. It's a sign that your body is asking for healing. Did you know that? These are signs that your body's saying, hey, let's tend to this before it tends to us. When life slows down, the emotions that were buried beneath years of responsibility finally have room to surface. The body is saying, I cannot carry this any longer. Help me release it. Do you listen? Or do you continue to try to push it back down? Do you try to treat it like, what is that gopher game where you bop it on the head with the big little mallet thing? You're just sitting there bopping the gophers when they poke the head up. Quit doing that to your pain. Quit doing that to your trauma. Address it. What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to show me? Emotions are messengers. And we teach that emotions are not your enemy. They are the messengers. Fear may reveal where healing is needed. Anger may reveal where boundaries have been crossed. Grief may reveal what needs to be honored. Sadness may reveal what has been lost. How many of us lost some things and we didn't have time at the time of the loss to grieve it? We didn't have time to feel the fullness of the emotion because we had to pivot and we had to keep moving. The goal is not to suppress emotions. The goal is to acknowledge them, process them, learn from them, and allow God to heal them. Because what is acknowledged can be addressed, and what is addressed can be healed. Plain and simple. So here's a heart-centered release. If you place one hand over your heart and one hand on your abdomen or your stomach, right? Take 3 slow breaths. We're going to breathe in our nose. Always remember to the count of 4. Hold it at the top to the count of 4, and then we're going to exhale out of our mouth. One more. Exhale. Again. Now ask yourself, what emotion have I been carrying that has been given, that I have not given myself permission to feel? And just let that sit for a minute. Don't judge it. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to push it away. Simply acknowledge it. Sometimes healing begins not when we fight our emotions, but when we finally allow ourselves to be honest about them. At that honesty becomes the doorway to restoration. At that point of honesty becomes a doorway to restoration. Ask what emotion needs my attention today. Allow silence. Take 3 slow breaths. No fixing, no judging, just noticing. Mhm. I'm going to try to get through this next part really quickly. This is the herbal reinforcement for your nervous system recovery. One of the biggest misconceptions about healing is believing that it only happens in one area of our lives. Many people pray for healing spiritually while neglecting their emotional health. Others focus on physical symptoms while ignoring the stress, the grief, the trauma, the thought patterns that contribute to those symptoms, right? True healing is holistic, the full entirety of you as a person. We are not just a body. We're not just a mind. We're not just a spirit. We are interconnected beings. And what affects one area often affects the others, all of them. All of who you are has been affected. And all of who you are is screaming for relief and release. When a woman experiences chronic stress, experiences unresolved grief, burnout, betrayal, emotional exhaustion, menopause, caregiver fatigue, or prolonged anxiety, her entire system is impacted. Spiritually, she may feel disconnected from God, struggle to trust, or question her purpose. Emotionally, she may experience overwhelming feelings, irritability, sadness, numbness, fear, or even hopelessness. And yes, I'm speeding up the pace because I want to really get through this part, right? Neurologically, the brain begins adapting to survival mode. Stress hormones remain elevated. Cortisol, elevated. Mhm. Never good. The nervous system becomes dysregulated. The brain starts prioritizing protection over growth. Physical symptoms may show up like fatigue, brain fog, sleep disruptions, digestive issues, headaches, increased inflammation in the body, muscle tension, weight changes, hormonal imbalances. This is why healing requires a whole person approach. Prayer supports the spirit. Thought renewal supports the mind. Movement supports the body. Herbs supports the body's natural ability to restore balance. Did you know that? So let's talk about the herbs. Lemon balm, one of my absolute favorites. I try not to run out of it. If I get low, I get nervous. Okay, just letting you know. This is the herb that calm and comfort. Lemon balm has been used for centuries to calm the nervous system and ease emotional tension. It is often considered one of the greatest herbs or the gentlest herbs for individuals who feel overwhelmed, anxiety, restlessness, irritability, mental overstimulated. So research shows or suggests that lemon balm may help support relaxation, mood balance, cognitive function, stress reduction, sleep quality. So for women in midlife and menopause, lemon balm can be particularly supportive because it calms that weird but tired or wired but tired. I feel weirdly, oddly like energized, but my body is tired. That feeling that we get right at nighttime, right at bedtime, right? So think of lemon balm as a gentle reminder to the nervous system that it is safe to heal. Holy basil, one of my favorites. It's an adaptogen, right, for stress resiliency. So it's an ivermectin. So tussie, as is often called, right, the queen of the herbs. Holy basil is classified as an adaptogen, meaning it helps the body adapt more effectively to stress. Rather than forcing the body in one direction, adaptogens help restore balance. Holy basil may support stress management, cortisol regulation, emotional resiliency, mental clarity, immune health. Like many women spend years responding to one challenge after another, right? Tulsi or holy basil helps strengthen the body's ability to navigate life's demands without becoming depleted. How many of us need that in our life, right? It supports resiliency without overstimulation. Sounds like it's something we need, right? Chamomile. Now, I don't particularly care for the flavor or the taste of chamomile, but mixed with lemon balm and lavender, it can be rather delicious. This is the herb of rest and restoration. Most people know chamomile as a bedtime tea, but its benefits extend far beyond sleep. Chamomile contains compounds that help calm the nervous system. It promotes relaxation. It may support better sleep quality, reduced nervous tension, digestive comfort, emotional relaxation, stress recovery. Chamomile reminds us that healing often happens during rest. Did you catch that? During rest. Many women have learned how to work through exhaustion. Chamomile encourages the opposite. Slow down, rest, recover, become um, become a better version of yourself because your body has had the opportunity to recover. Because restoration is productive. It's mandatory. It's needed. That's why even God said on the seventh day he rested, right? Now, passion fruit or passion flower. Passion flower is absolutely tasty and delicious. The herb for racing thoughts. How many of us have those? Business owners, solopreneurs, those who have a 5 to 9 and a 9 to 5, right? Passion fruit is one of the most valuable herbs for individuals whose minds never seem to turn off. Many people can physically lie down while their minds continue running. They replay conversations, anticipate problems, rehearse worst case scenarios, carry tomorrow's worries into today's rest. Passion flower may support mental calmness, reduced anxiety thoughts or anxious thoughts. It improves sleep, nervous system regulation, and relaxation. So, for individuals experiencing hypervigilance or chronic stress responses, passion flower can be a powerful ally in helping the mind slow down and return to a present moment. Be present in the moment instead of going back into the past, which that drags us into depression, or focusing on the future, which pushes us into anxiety. We stay present in the moment. Oat straw. Oat straw. This is the nervous system nourisher. Who knows that their nervous system needs a little bit of nourishment and love? Oat straw is often overlooked because it works differently than many herbs. Rather than simply calming the nervous system, it nourishes it. Think of oat straw as food for the depleted nervous system. It contains minerals and compounds traditionally used to support nervous system recovery, emotional stability, mental endurance, stress resiliency, and long term restoration. So many women are not simply stressed, they are depleted. How many of us know that, resemble that, right? They have spent years giving more energy than they have replenished. Oat straw reminds us that recovery is not just about reducing stress, that it is also about rebuilding what stress has depleted. Who could use that in their life? I want to throw up a leg, an arm, a couple of toes. Absolutely, okay? So let's talk about it. One of the principles that I teach is that healing is not about choosing between faith and science. No, it is about rewarding every tool God has provided. It is about stewarding every tool, acknowledging every tool, finding out what they are, and then incorporating them. So prayer strengthens your spirit, right? Scriptures remind or renew the mind. Breath work regulates the nervous system. Movement releases stored tension in the body. Herbs support the body's natural healing processes. If you cut your finger, your body knows to start healing that cut. Then why is your nervous system not know to start reducing your cortisol levels, reducing your adrenaline? Why does your nervous system not understand that you are not running from a tiger or a bear or a Bigfoot? You are simply nervous about going on stage to speak before a group of people. See that? So when we address healing from multiple angles, we create the conditions for true transformation, because healing is not simply the absence of symptoms. Healing is the restoration of wholeness. The wholeness is where everything begins. So herbs support the body. Thought renewal supports the mind. Prayer supports the spirit, movement supports the nervous system. Healing requires that partnership. I'm saying it again because I want you to put it not just in your notepad, put it in your mind, put it in your heart, put it in your mouth, but start using it. So, becoming the new you, and I know I've been going a little bit longer because I did have a break and it slowed me down. So, I'm approaching the end, right? So, lasting transformation happens when people stop managing symptoms and begin addressing the underlying patterns. So, the question is not, who were you? The question is, who are you becoming? Ephesians 4:23 and 24 says, be constantly renewed in the spirit of your mind, but put on the new nature. So here's the thing I want you to remember. I always type out scriptures, and it's really difficult to like have reminders of what I'm supposed to be talking about and then have something I actually need to read. So yes, put on the new nature. So notice it said put on, right? Identity is practice before it is natural. It becomes natural, second habits, second nature. You had to drive to that job, to your office, at least 90 days straight before it became a thing where you could drive that route and not even have to think about it. You can be thinking about everything else that you need to do. And and like you pull up at the job and you're like, did I stop at that red light? That's usually pretty congested. I don't remember hearing any extra horns. Did I stop at that stop sign that I seen so many people get ticket for running? Right, second nature, right? Okay. So the reflection questions that I want you to think about and sort of write down, because I want you to go over these on your own time. Who must I stop being? Be honest with yourself, because there's a version of you that has been there for everyone else except you. What version of me am I releasing that's no longer serving you? I had to learn how no was a complete sentence and then learn how to set constructive and productive boundaries for every person in my life so that I could start reclaiming my life. It felt uncomfortable. It was stressful. It was nerve-wracking. I felt bad sometimes, but guess what? It was one of the best decisions I ever made, and I feel so much better, and I feel so much more me and alive. So what version of me is emerging? Think about her. Who is she? What would you like for her to accomplish? How gorgeous is she? She's been working out for months now. Oh, is she stepping into her new self with a new body? She's been making her own hair oil and hairspray. Is her hair thick like mine? And is cascading down her back like mine? Because when I straighten this mess, good Lord, it's not only thick, it's long. Woo, okay, and hot. Okay, so yes. So you'll see me, you may see me have it braided, and I'll have it braided for like 3 or 4 days. But them braids hanging, they get hot too. Okay, and guess what? I will take them suckers down in 7 days. So I just need for y'all to understand it ain't all what it seems. But guess what? The new me is emerging, and I'm learning to love she, respect she, and honor she. So, what would thriving look like in this season? What do you consider to be thriving? Is it health? Is it wealth? Is it mental strength and resiliency? Is it setting productive boundaries? Is it learning a new skill? Is it perfecting your 5 to 9 so that it can begin to replace your 9 to 5? What is thriving look like for you in this new season? And then I have some declarations. I want you to just repeat after me. Let's take a deep breath. We're holding at the top, exhaling. Let us start. I am not my I am not my past. I am not my fear. I am not my trauma. I am not my burnout. My mind is being renewed. My nervous system is regulated. My body is healing. My identity is restored. My future is open. I am becoming who God created me to be. And I love her thoroughly. Did you feel that? So Isaiah 61:3 says this: to give them beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, the garment of praise instead of a heavy, burdened, and failing spirit. Survival may have protected you in a season, over some years, for a decade, but it was never meant, it had never been meant, and it will never be meant to define you. Your next season is not about becoming stronger. It's about becoming whole, healed. And from wholeness, you can finally heal, regulate, and thrive. So as we conclude today, I want to remind you of something that is very important. Healing is not an event. It's not. Transformation is not a moment. Identity shifts happen through intentional practice, consistent support, and a willingness to address the root causes rather than simply managing the symptoms. It's today's version of I am showing up for me so that I can become the best version of me. So if today's training resonated with you, if you recognize that you've been living in survival mode longer than you realized, know that you do not have to navigate that journey alone. I am here and I specialize in helping women regulate, heal, and thrive through life's transitions by addressing the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, the physical, and the behavioral patterns that keep you stuck, circling and cycling. So whether you're navigating burnout, emotional exhaustion, menopause, grief, life transitions, identity loss, stress, or simply feeling disconnected from the woman you know you were created to be, there's a pathway forward. Through our coaching programs, soul healing sessions, menopause and midlife transition or transformation coaching, somatic practices, nervous system regulation tools, and faith-based empowerment strategies, we help women move beyond surviving and into intentional living. So if you're ready to explore what your next season could look like, I invite you to schedule a complimentary discovery session with me or conversation with me. Together, we identify where you are, where you want to be, and what may be standing in the way of your transformation. Because your story is not over. Because guess what? You deserve to be able to enjoy enjoy the last half of your life and enjoy it. Not worried about other people, not meeting their needs before yours, not keep putting yourself on the back burner. Your best days are not behind you. And survival is not your final destination. It's time to heal, it's time to regulate, and it's time to thrive. So you can learn more by reaching out to me. We have a live Q&A session after this, and I look forward to talking to each and every one of you. I love you to life. Go forth and have a blessed and prosperous day on purpose.